On this episode of the LX450, we do some repairs to the engine fan, to the steering column, shocks, and taillight as we prepare the vehicle to take it on our first major journey, which will be to the island of Tobago on a vacation trip and tour the island. So here we are. I put in the spacer. When I bought this vehicle, it already had a spacer, so I'm using both spacers. And to make the length, I have some studs I took out from the front hub of a 106 Hilux. Here's the fan which I bought. It's stated for the LX450. Is an Eason fan, but it doesn't match this clutch here, as well as this is the original fan which I took out from this vehicle since I bought it. But I think this fan is not an original fan for this vehicle because the bore here does not match the bore on the water pump. So I think someone just used a fan that had bolt holes matching, and these holes looked like they were drilled out larger too. So that is why this fan, I can't get it to work, but I'm making some headway with the 1JZ fan. So the fan is a bit loose, so I think before I put it in, I'll put some silicone oil in the fan and assemble it. So let's see how it goes. Here to put the studs on, what I do is just put two nuts together and use this spanner here, lock them together, and then just turn the nuts, and it will send the stud in. And then you just back the nut off, and the stud is went in majority of the way. So this technique work if you want to remove a stud that is stuck or some sort, and you don't want to use like a vice grip to damage the threading. This technique is excellent for that, where you just use two nuts, lock the nuts together, and run them in. So this is the fan. This is the clutch assembly when you remove it from the fan. This is the oil I'll be putting on it to make it a little more viscous. Is silicone oil for clutch fans made in Malaysia. Here I have the 1JZ fan installed. So it's not spinning as stiff as I like it to be, but I mean, I put half bottle of oil additional in it, so I'll see how the temperature go while the engine is running. New belts on. These belts are not the correct size. That is what gave me a lot of trouble, because they are 13 millimeters wide, and I think the original should be 10 millimeters wide. So it's a bit out of the pulley, but as it were, it will sort of go down. The alternators on the least amount of tension, and the belts are very stiff. so I'm hoping that they will, and I can get enough deflection on them. Just connect back the water lines and install the AC belt, and then I'll be moving on to the battery stand. And last night we ran into some problems after installing the fan. The flange on the water pump came loose where is the interference press fit. I'm not sure how come that flange was loose, so the entire fan came off and came in contact with the radiator, burst the radiator. So this morning I tried to solder the two holes here, and I just roll over the cores and crimp them. So I roll it once and crimped it, and then roll it again and crimped it. So not sure if it will leak. I have the radiator ready to go back in. We patched here, and I cut the tubes on the side, and I soldered it here as well. So hopefully it holds up. I just put some water on it and it wasn't leaking, but you know, when it gets the temperature and pressure, if it will start leak. So time to put it in and we'll test it. Yeah, I installed the the radiator. So we're running the 1JZ fan still. As this fan is not running on the direct on the shaft where the shaft aligned it, I just running on the bolt holes. I think the fan is up in off center, so there are slight vibration. As I can see, a little sort of wobble in the fan. But this is the 1JZ fan. Hook up blue belts just above the battery box, and you just have to observe the radiator to see if it will be leaking. We building up a battery box using some scrap. This is sea purlin used for roofing. So I cut up a few pieces and I'm trying to fabricate a bracket out of this. I was going to use angle steel, but the angle steel I find is a bit too heavy gauge, and I just adding extra weight to the vehicle for no reason. So I decided to use a scrap material. This was already going to discard as scrap, so it's just some small pieces I cutting up and using. Right, so we're gonna make a bracket there, and then probably may just make another one from this point here, come up to this bolt here. I know the place is a bit dark, but I'm trying to get this done by the end of the evening. Just about finished with this battery box. I just need to get the clamps to drill on both sides with the J hooks to clamp on the battery. What I did was build a strap from the frame here down to the box, a next strap on this side, and then one bolt here. So pretty sturdy for a battery. So it's just to get the clamps. May have to buy some or probably make some J hooks, and I have to make a piece for across it. But I feel there is a foot tonight because it's getting very difficult to see because all the place is dark and rain is falling. It's very dark. Yeah, I installed the battery stand, battery box. I just set it to spray a green paint, added a bit in a can, which was just, here is the battery stand. And up, so the base of the battery stand here is roofing, some leftover pieces of roofing material. The J hooks are some quarters in steel welded to the cheap 3/8 bolt, no 5/16 bolt I picked up in the hardware. Just weld it in there, bent a piece of quarter in steel. The top is a piece of a drawer slide from a desk that was scrapping, so I took out the drawer slide, used the drawer slide for the top, and well, all here is the same sheeted material. It was stripped down and just welded up together, and that is the battery stand. I may need to replace the drawer slide because it's a bit bending, and you can see a bit of a rock, but it's way better than what it had before. The roofing sheeting material that I used was some sheets, some pieces from leftover from the shed, just cut up and did some modification and fit it in. Here we have a broken tail light from the LX450. So what I'm going to try to do is cut a piece of this lens I got from a scrap vehicle and stick it onto this one, just to get by. So here's the light that was broken. I just cut a lens from an old light and took my solar iron and kind of melted the two lenses together to hold it in. So it's pretty decent to get by for the while. We carried the vehicle for a test drive and lost steering, so we had to end up towing the vehicle home, and it was just out the road we went, and coming along here, I don't know if you can see it right there, the steering rod broke on the compression zone. So you can see we got the steering rod out, and you can see we are broke on the compression zone. This is a sort of freak accident because I don't know how this failed like this, because your steering system should have a serious safety factor involved in it, where it's built stronger. And yes, you're seeing it was cut and welded back by me. I did well in a sleeve because I linked it, but can see it did not fail by the extension, it failed on the factory zone. So now what I'll do is cut out this piece, entire compression zone, and replace it with a solid steering rod. Bring the steering rod here. I have another steering rod from another vehicle I was scrapping, so I'll cut this rod down, cut out this piece here, put it on here, weld it, and I will take a piece of this pipe, which is a drag link from another vehicle, 106 Hilux, and I'll boil it out a bit and make a sleeve to slide over the pipe, the steering rod, and weld everything together. So about to get to work on that. I will machine this part out on the lathe. Yeah, we have our lathe there, so we'll machine this part out, butt it up, weld it off, and see. So here we are just machine on the shaft for a bit of a bevel in it, cut both of them to length 22 inches, and made this sleeve, bore it out. So when we weld the steering rod, we will just sleeve it and weld it off. So about to do some welding now. All tacked up and seems to be running straight enough, so we'll weld off and then slide the sleeve over and weld off the sleeve. The new steering rod to install, now finished, still hot from the welding, so just waiting for it to cool down. Even though I just hit the welding a bit of spray paint, green spray paint, because that's all I have. So is sleeved with a piece of drag link from a 106 Hilux, and underneath is just butted up, bevel and weld. So and as I saw, I put it on the lathe and weld it. There's a bit of a run out where the welding is, but the both ends seem to be running through as I was on the lathe. It's just the shaft has a bit of bow in it, but very slight. that won't cause any problems. Steering rod reinstalled long, you can see there where I cut on well on with the sleeve. Okay, I'll just get inside there. So there's running and yeah, for steering working. The shock is bad in the back here, so I'll look to try to replace the shocks. Yeah, so I'll have to dig through my inventory and see if I have to use ones that is good, because I plan to put some spacers on this vehicle, some spring spacers, and I'll need longer shocks when I come to that. So I have two longer ones, but I don't want to put it in and it bottoming off. So here's the shock we took out. Look at the stem. That's why it's not working proper. It's severely bent. So we will look if I have a replacement, something close to the size. Two skyjacker shocks in my inventory. There's approximately the same length, just the skyjacker is just slightly longer. Compressed is roughly the same length, just slightly longer, about a centimeter longer. So I'll use these two skyjackers and see if the van drive any better, as is a bit bouncy, and as you can clearly see, the shock is damaged. So shock is installed. The stem in this shock is a bit smaller than what we took out, so I use the smaller washers and bushings from that shock up top, and we install this well, not new, but used skyjacker shock from a scrap vehicle that I had in my inventory. So we'll see how it works. Once these stuff working, eventually I'll upgrade them, because I may buy an entire ARB suspension for this, but it all depends on funds and costing, how much it will cost to get the engine done. And right now we're just doing a budget build, and for the vehicle to work reliable, no issues, and we can go in some tough conditions but still run pretty well on the road. So all for our budget. That is why we're not rushing into anything or just upgrading and buying new. We want to make sure the vehicle is running good, and we do our budget build at the same time. We have both shocks removed from the vehicle, and you can see both of them were bent. So I'm not sure how it will perform, but when I do a road test and within the next few upcoming days, I'll see if these skyjacker shocks I put in, which were used already, if they will hold up. Today we're back again on the FZJ80. We cut up this exhaust, was running out here, and right now I'm trying to put on some mud guards just for make the van more legal on the roads. So I cut out the exhaust and well, back in a piece out from another vehicle. So cut out some pieces from that, weld it up, and now we're going to look to install the mud guards. Took a mud guard off of a LX450 surf, and cut them and just use some self-tapping screws and screw them in. So we're gonna do the same for the other side. Hopefully when we go out on the road we don't get in any trouble from the police and so forth. So we have on both sides. And here was the light that I repair using a piece of an old lens. Just cut it out and splice it in using my soldering iron. So just an update on the FZJ 80 as we plan to carry it on our road trip soon. So hopefully we'll be going on our road trip to the sister island of Trinidad, which is Tobago, and just want to make sure that we don't get any issues when we go across there. So the place got dark here after installing the mud guards and so forth. Sorting out the exhaust, everything. So now what we're going to try to do is, this spare tire is a bit low under the vehicle, and you know that will take away some ground clearance if we go in the bush. So what I'll do is try to raise this entire bracket up by 3 inches using this angle steel with the slots in it, with the holes already drilled out. I will just remove these bolts and put a piece of angle and raise this entire thing up by 3 inches, because this vehicle has a 3 inch body lift, as you can see here. So I'm gonna try and raise everything 3 inches up so that I can raise this tire 3 inches up. So I'll be cutting the saw, the steel with the saw, and trying it out. So once we get through that, I'll touch back in with you all. Here I finished installing angle clamps and just use 4 bolts. So I'll try it out with 4 pieces. It had 6 originally, so 2 on either side, and raise it up by 3 inches. So time to pop the tire. So there we have it, the spare tire set in 3 inches higher. Everything worked out. The tire is still like shooting, exceeding underneath here a bit, but it's much better than before. So it's 3 inches up and it's still a bit low, but I am satisfied with it as right now. It's just to see if these brackets will loosen up or anything, and see how it goes. So I think that today back on the FZJ80, I try to take these 2 pieces off 1 by 1 hollow section, box section, and try to make a roof rack for the FZJ. We want to carry this to Tobago, sister island of Trinidad, and want to carry these 2 kayaks. So my wife insists that she have to carry a kayak. So going to try to assemble a roof rack now, fabricate a roof rack to put on top there, so that we can carry across these 2 kayaks as we be leaving in the morning to go on our trip to Tobago. So about to that now. Now is about 4 p.m. I'm hoping to finish this in about an hour or two, so that we can pack the vehicle to get ready to leave in the morning, as we have to leave bright and early. So this is where we are with the roof rack. I initially cut these 3.5 inches open with a clearly hood, but it's a bit too short, so I went to 4.5 inches. So 4.5 inches fits. We have to climb up here. So at 4.5 inches we have within there, and here, don't worry about the patches on top of the roof. We have to patch this roof. When we bought this LX450, it had a roof rack, the original from the factory, and the people who installed it pretty bad. So the top of the hood in the vehicle had some severe rusting. So I just put some of that sealant on top to fill the holes, while I prep to do a body work soon on it. So we're gonna lengthen these by 1 inch on the side. So a little bit of update now. Now it's about 8 o'clock. Time run away on us, but we got through it building the 2 bars for the FZJ. There's one here, and there's the other one. A piece of box section with a piece of 1 inch flats and a piece of angle just with a bolt running through clamping it. So throw up the 2 kayaks and ratchet bind them. So we'll see how it goes up on the highway tomorrow and see how it rolls out. So just packing up the van, so because tomorrow will be early, we'll be on the road.